Hey guys, and welcome back to Tackle Crew. Today I want to talk about a rod that is so much fun to fish with, and this is the Shimano Expride. It's the 7-foot medium glass, and it's quickly become one of my favorite rods, or at least the most fun rod that I have in my lineup to fish with. So let's talk about it. Well, it's no secret that the Shimano Expride line of rods is one of my favorite rods out there, and the Shimano Expride rods, they are so lightweight, they are well built, they are really sensitive, and they really punch above their weight in terms of what you get for that money that you spend on them. And so this is the Shimano Expride 7-foot medium glass, and here in the northern part of Europe and in the Scandinavian market, it's actually really hard to get your hands on more than 3 or 4 models in the Expride line, especially in the casting lineup. And so I was super happy when I got my hands on this glass model. It's the only glass model that we can get our hands on unless we import them from the US or from Japan. And so what I like about this model in particular is that it's a 2-piece model. So for my type of fishing, it's so convenient to be able to pull them apart and store them away. And this is the only way that I can basically manage to get my rods into the house and still be married. So yeah, that's one big factor. But anyways, the glass model has really quickly become one of my favorite models in the Expride line. And I want to talk a little bit about how I fish this rod and what types of lures I fish it, and also give my last thoughts if this is a rod you should put your money on. So let's go. Let's first off talk about what kind of lures that I'm fishing this with. And as you can see here, I've got a small crankbait or square bill on here, and that's the main thing I will be using this rod for. I've got a Spro Little John on here. I love this bait, and this is a perfect size bait for this rod, I think. And for those of you who don't know, a glass rod is different from a composite rod. So the glass rods, they are really built to bend much more in the middle of the body, and especially in the outer section as well. So they really bend, like you can see here. And then you say, well, won't you lose all of your sensitivity when you build rods like this? Well, that's where the Shimano Expride line comes in, because although this is a glass rod, it's very sensitive. And that's what I love about this model, that it's still, it's a 7-foot, so short enough to be able to throw pretty much anything, but it's not as soft in the midsection that you lose all of your sensitivity. I feel like this is the perfect mix between the two. So and comparing that to, say, your Shimano Expride 6'10" medium that I also have, the Expride in the midsection is a lot more stiff. It still bends in a little bit in the middle, of course, but the top section is much faster on the Expride 6'10" medium. So the glass model is a lot softer in the midsection, and that really helps when you're throwing small bait with treble hooks like this in landing your fish. And the first bait, like I said, that I use for this is small crankbaits, small square bills, just like this one. And like I said, this is one of my favorite ones. But if you're fishing Westine, then you have your raw bite. It's gonna be perfect for that. Your baby bite, probably not the deep runner, but the shallow runner. And all of those shallow running crankbaits is gonna be amazing with this rod. Some other baits that I actually throw on this rod is actually small chatterbaits. So this is the Baby Jack, a new bait as well that's come out, the Jackhammer Baby Jack. And by the way, I actually prefer the Minimax. I think that bait started up a little bit faster, but anyways, this is a bait that I will be throwing. This is a 1/2 ounce, and what I love about throwing chatterbaits on this rod is that you still have a soft enough tip, but when you load up in the midsection, you really have the power that you need to be pulling it out of the grass. And so you definitely have that, and it's amazing to hook up the fish on that chatterbait on this rod. Another bait that I will be throwing on this rod, that I've been throwing as well, and especially now in the fall, is actually some shallow running and mid running jerkbaits. And my pro tip here is that you really need to have braid on, and that's what I'm using here. So I've got a reel with braid, and my leader is fluorocarbon. So I've got like a 2 meter leader with fluorocarbon. I think it's I can't remember the diameter actually on this. I think it's 12 pound something, I think it is, maybe 14 pound. But I'm using braid as my main line, and that's why you can also throw and do some jerkbait fishing on this rod, because the braid, it won't move, it won't stretch at all, but your rod will absorb all of that flexibility that you need in driving those baits. So normally I would use a 6'10" medium Expride rod for my jerkbait fishing, but you really need a little bit of more stretch, so fluorocarbon is preferred there, or a really long line of fluorocarbon leader. So pro tip, use this rod with braid. That's what I do. I love to fish it that way, but I do have a pretty long, like a 2 meter fluorocarbon leader on this. And that's why I can fish crankbaits on this. I still have a lot of sensitivity in the crankbait. I can still use smaller and mid-running jerkbaits, which is a lot of fun. And you can also fish small chatterbaits like the Minimax or the Baby Jack or something like that. So fishing this rod has become so much fun. I'm telling you guys, you have to try this rod, especially for perch fishing that I will be doing here in the northern part of Europe and in Scandinavia, when you have those a little bit smaller fish, when you prefer a little bit more bend in your rod, and the hookup ratio goes up, and it's so much fun to throw these baits, and when you land a fish, you have that amazing feeling. You can really lean back with the rod and you can hook those fish and land them really well. Another thing that I wanted to mention about this rod is its weight. I'll put up the weight on the screen here, but normally glass rods, they tend to be a lot heavier than your other rods. And the thing about this rod is that it still feels like, well, it doesn't feel like a glass rod at all. It's so lightweight. It's amazing. And the sensitivity is really good as well. I mean, it's not as sensitive as, say, your 6'10" medium, but you still have a lot of sensitivity in this rod. And I feel like they have really hit sort of like a golden standard here, at least in my opinion. I haven't fished that many glass rods, so if you have another glass rod that you think I should try out, please comment down below. But this is the one that I can get my hands on in a 2-piece model, like I said, but I'd love to try some more glass rods out there as well. And but like I said, really lightweight, sensitive, great feeling in your hand. All right, so I thought I'd show the action in a little bit more detail. So I'm gonna back up and I'll show you when I bend this rod, when I pull the line, and you will definitely see how the midsection and the top section bends much more than a regular rod. All right guys, so I'm gonna demonstrate the action of the rod, and as you can see, the whole rod bends pretty much, and from the tip, when I'm putting it under a lot of load, it's almost right down to the rear seat. Hopefully the camera can pick this up, but it's a pretty cool action in the rod, and has a lot of bend. And midsection, yeah, all the way to the first line guide. And so when you're fishing and you hook up those fish, you really have an amazing action. So it's really cool. So there we have it guys, the Shimano Expride 7-foot medium glass. It's an amazing rod, so much fun to fish with, especially for perch, and I think you guys should try it out. But hey, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you like these types of videos, please leave a thumbs up, and also if you want more of this type of content, please subscribe to the channel as well. But thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.